Hello YouTube, it's More Pew Pew Needs Help here, or Mac Ball Gargle, or Mac, or Ash Cheeks, whatever you want to call me, I'm here. I'm at Basin Trucks, and it's looking like it's about that time to roll on out of here. Many of you don't know, I got a call from my supervisor back in Maryland that an official date for the CCC was acquired. And that is Monday, this upcoming Monday, the 19th?
Yes.
The 19th. So, Joe helped me. Well, it was mostly Joel who put the Jeep back together and got it rolling and fixed up, and I'll be out of here. And gotta gun it down to Maryland in 2.5 days. And I'll be out of here. And then I'll be working there until they lay me off in December. And then after that, I'll be going to DWT, who is also on the forum, up in Washington State, to work for him. While I'm in Maryland, I'm going to pack up shop, I'm going to sell some things, liquidize my assets, as some might say, and make things a little bit easier for everyone. But as for the here and now, this trip has been certainly one of a kind, and if I could do things again, well, I'd probably do things the same so that I could get this kind of an experience, because the patience from Joe has been, I don't know how I'm going to ever show my appreciation enough to Joe for how patient he has been with me and how kind he has been letting me into his home, his burned down home, and his nice home that his parents live in. I'm extremely grateful and really appreciative that Joe was nice enough to do these things for me and fix up the Jeep on top of all that. The cherry on the ice cream. So, not much else to say except, Joe, I really appreciate you letting me stay here and be around your family. Complete stranger on the internet. Not even 5 days ago.
It's been a couple of weeks.
Has it?
Yeah.
Well, either way, time is relative. Complete stranger on the internet, and he lets him into his home.
Tell him what you've learned last week. You learned anything?
I've learned a few things.
Experiences?
Well, let's see, what's probably the most important? Well, I guess one of the most important things is he constantly got on me for swearing, so I really gotta stop. Hey, I haven't sworn in the video yet.
Yeah. You're also not working on anything.
Huh?
You're also not working on anything. You're not doing anything.
What do you mean?
Every time you do something and it doesn't go 100% perfectly.
Yeah. He's pointed out to me a number of occasions that when I'm sitting there working, nobody wants to hear you complain. Nobody wants to hear you swear.
What do I call it? Whining to yourself?
Or that.
Yeah.
So that's something I really got to work on.
You want to give an example?
Like when I was trying to remove those bolts on the transmission.
Well, you would sit there and whine. Yeah, how you sit there and whine.
Okay, an example I guess would be when I was removing the transmission pan, the oil transmission pan, or whatever, to replace the transmission filter. There were some bolts underneath the exhaust that were all retarded, or the exhaust was all retarded in covering the bolts, and I complained a lot about that because I couldn't get to them, and when I was trying to, he gave me a swivel joint to use to get in there and try to remove the bolts. There goes a car. But when I was trying to do it, as he pointed out to me, I don't know enough, I don't have enough experience, and all I was doing was stripping the bolts. So, obviously I swore and cursed and complained. I'm sure that's how a 5-year-old does it. But, there's your example, right?
Well, I was more referring to what you say.
Oh, I don't want to swear on the video.
Well, you don't have to swear, but you sit there and whine anytime, like when he starts rounding off a bolt. It's, oh man, oh, really,
Oh,
come on, what's going on? Oh, no. Add some explicitives in there. And That's what it sounds like when he's under the Jeep working on it.
It's not quite like that, but sure. Close enough.
Like I said. What else is on your mind? What else you learned? Notable that you want to mention?
Huh?
Something notable that you might want to mention.
Well, I went sailing for the first time yesterday. That was pretty cool. I'm not sure if I, learned too much, but that was definitely an experience that I wish I could do again. Don't you think?
It's up to you.
I think I want to go sailing. That's what I think I want to do.
Oh, he's gonna sell everything, buy a boat,
Yeah.
live on the
My
boat.
$10,000 worth of stuff.
Yeah, it's not gonna get you a very nice boat.
How much was your sunfish?
Well, sunfish aren't that expensive, but you can't live on a sunfish.
I guess you're right, yeah.
Yeah. You think cars are expensive to maintain?
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah, I really got to work on my swearing, and I really got to work on the respect aspect of life and accepting responsibility for my actions, because there's a number of people in the forum, and I'm sure Joe has pointed out once or twice, and I'm sure it'll stick with me after I leave, but you can't push the blame onto somebody else when it's your fault. You really can't do that. It shows that you aren't it shows that you're not mature enough to handle certain things, like owning a car. When I first got the Jeep, I really pushed the blame onto Zachary Cox, even though the blame lied with myself, because I was willing to go all the way to Ohio, 3.5 hours by truck, to pick up that Jeep, and I didn't look over anything, and the things that I did see that were wrong, I ignored, and I got stuck with I got stuck with the POS. So that's 100% my fault, and I will never do something stupid like that again. And I'm sure PBB and Joe would be very disappointed if I ever did something like that again.
No, there's nothing wrong with buying a POS. If you're in the position in life to be able to afford the POS.
I see what you're saying. And I also really got to work on the swearing. I guess I just... Hold on. Excuse me.
Try to look up slightly when you talk.
Like this?
Yeah. Puts the sun better on your face.
Alright, well, I guess from swearing, it's just probably from my parents not being around, I decided, oh, I can swear now. Responsibilities. Rules, what are those? So I really got to stop that, because nobody appreciates someone who swears all the time, or especially swears while they're working. And that's just not a good look.
So you should just learn to close your mouth.
That too. I really need to shut my mouth when someone is speaking to me, instead of interjecting in a conversation I have no place in being, or I don't really offer anything. And even if something I say is correct, no one wants to be around that person who is a know-it-all. It knows every little piece of information there is. All it does is kind of ruin the conversation. It's probably why I don't have friends. Outside of Joe and the forum.
I don't know.
But you guys are kind of my parents, so...
I think you're about to become emancipated.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What
He
for?
has no idea what that means.
I do know what that means.
Okay. You're growing up. You're shipping out. Right?
I certainly hope so.
You
I
got
think
this
I've
job.
learned enough on the trip to realize where I've gone wrong and what to correct. But the only way I can correct the things that are wrong is if I continually work on them. It won't happen overnight. And if I stop working on it, it's not like it's magically gonna change. I really have to consistently and continually work on it until I am a completely better person. Which means I always have to put in effort to everything I do. Otherwise, I'll just go back to the person that I was before that everybody hated. Right?
I don't know. That's your decision.
I mean, what I'm saying is if I don't work on the things that I'm supposed to work on, I'll just go back to what everybody said was terrible.
Well, opinions and all. But you gotta do what's right for you. Like, that's one of the things you have to work on. Raise
Yeah.
it up. Raise it up. There you go. Touching things.
I touch things without asking sometimes, and I'm
Things
really
that aren't
fidgety.
yours.
Huh?
Things that aren't yours.
Yes. That's something I really have to work on.
If you want to ask about something, you can ask and point. You don't have to pick it up and touch it.
A great example is Joe said that Joe discontinued power to all the things in the house except for what's running the bus and an outlet for his power tools. Well, the garage door can be manually closed and opened.
Not anymore.
Huh?
Not anymore.
Why not?
Fixed. But anyway, continue with your story.
Well, at the time, the door needed to be manually closed and opened, and that it wasn't, plugged in, right? Well, Joe mentioned that the handle on the thing, you could lock it. And my first instinct, what do you think it was? It was you can lock it? And then Joe immediately, before it could even touch it, knew that I was going to do that and said, no, don't do that. I really have to work on that.
Think before you speak or do an action. It's okay, you can take a second. But wait a minute, should I do this? Should I say this?
Joe made a great analogy to me the other day while we were driving. I think it was while we were driving back to the bus. He said, a great way to look at it is to think about something and think to yourself, will I go to jail? Is this illegal? How did you?
A few things. What was it? Is this illegal? If the answer is yes, then you probably shouldn't do it or say it. Is it going to put me in jail? Yes or no? Same thing. Is it safe for a child to hear or see?
If the answer is no, then you definitely shouldn't
You
be doing
probably
it.
shouldn't do it. Things like that. Think about it. If the answer is no to any of those, you probably, or yes in some cases, you probably shouldn't do them. Or say them.
I have a lot to work on and a lot to think about.
Eventually you won't have to think so long before you speak. You'll become more trained and you'll be able to process it faster, and you won't even have to think about it eventually if you keep up with it. So you'll know, you'll just be quiet. You won't even think about it. Or like, oh yes. Oh, do you add to the conversation? Are you actually adding to the conversation
If
in
not,
a
then shut
positive
up.
manner? Or are you not? If you're not, then just don't say anything.
It's like the rule, if you don't have anything nice to say, then don't say it at all.
Something like that.
Close, I'm sure. I'm sure some people will see the analogy comparison. There's a lot that I've learned on this, and there's a lot to still learn and a lot to think about. And during my return trip home, since I no longer have a radio, I'll be thinking about a lot of it, all of it.
Alright, any last words?
Yeah. Thanks to the Pirate 4x4 Forum for taking the time to read over my thread and help me out along this journey of manhood and discovery and advice. I really couldn't have gotten this far without you, and the fact that you took the time to help me out, even though I blundered up pretty good, is something to say about everyone. I really appreciate all the advice that you guys gave me, and I really appreciate the time and patience that Joe provided me while I was staying here. I can't think of a single person who has ever been as patient as you have been with me during my entire life. Not even my own parents were as patient as you, especially my father. My father had the patience of a 5-second bomb.
On that note, are you going to drop the bomb on your father's screen name?
I don't know his screen name. I asked him and he won't tell me.
Keeping it classy.
Actually, he told me that that he forgot his password for his account. I don't know if that's true or not.
He probably didn't forget his password. The Canadians changed everybody's password. And if you didn't have your email current, you were locked out of your account. So he probably got locked out of his account. but I'm not
How
so
long
sure.
ago was that?
A while back. I don't know.
I don't know his screen name. If it did, I would tell you. Because,
That's what he claims. I don't know. Is he telling us the truth or not?
oh, I would
We'll
tell
never
you
know.
the screen
We'll
name.
never know.
But,
Some people might think he has a star.
who?
Your dad.
What do you mean he has a star?
On the board.
I don't think he does. He was only on it for, at least according to him, he was only on it to look up something for the Centurion and something else.
Well, I don't know. Some people think he's got a star. That or he's got a mole. Someone's feeding him information. A lot of stuff changed with him after your thread popped up. And your sister.
What do you mean? What about my sister?
Things changed after things were mentioned.
I'm not following.
I know. You're not aware of them.
You guys know about
Posting-
my sister now?
We know who your sister is.
That's not what I asked.
That's all I'm saying. Is a number of things changed after this thread started rolling. So unless he's got a mole somewhere here, he's got a star. He wouldn't have ever known about these things.
He's the one who told me to go to the thread.
I know. Anyway, we'll just leave it at that. Something to confuse Ashke
Something
there.
to bite on.
He doesn't understand.
I honestly don't care. The only thing that I worry about is if people discover all of that stuff, they'll negatively think about me.
Well, if you didn't do it, you can't worry about it.
I didn't do anything.
Okay, then don't worry about it. Don't worry about what other people think.
It almost makes me feel like it'll hinder my future.
It will if you let it. Don't worry about it. Look in the direction you're walking, not in the direction you've been. You can remember the direction you've been. And try not to make the same mistakes. But look in the direction you're walking.
Huh.
If someone else wants to look in your behest and go, you know what? I don't like that. Forget him. So be it. Keep walking. Alright. Well, it's about time to get on the road then.
Yep. Thanks to you guys for all the time and effort you put into helping me out on this trip. I really appreciate it, and I really wouldn't have gotten this far without you. A special thanks to Joe. I'll make sure the people who helped me along the way will get a special thank you gift or something. At the very least, a handwritten letter instead of some crappy typed up computer thing to let them know that I am really appreciative.
Well, you can't afford a computer, so...
I have a computer.
Right over his head. Right over his head.
I understand what you're saying, but it doesn't apply to me since I already have one.
You got a printer?
No, I don't.
Okay. So there we go.
I'm sure I could email you. I don't know your email, so never mind.
I guess you can't then, can you?
No. Well, I guess I gotta hit the road.
Say goodbye.
Bye, YouTube.
This may be your last video ever.
No, because I told Nerve Man in the forum that I'd start making videos again.
No.
Better videos, better content,
Maybe you get
etc.
kidnapped on the way back or something, or blow up in a fiery Jeep crash, or I don't know. This could be it.
Well, if that's the last YouTube video, thanks Joe, and thank you Pirate 4x4. You guys are the best.
Thanks for watching. Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.